What's the story, Morning Glory? What's the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of PolyFamily Season 1, Episode 3, Who's Your Daddy? Before we get into the actual episode itself, I do want to talk about some allegations that have been floating around on the internet regarding Sean. So, what I found out this week through TikTok is that Sean has a history, okay, and not a very good one at that. So, the most serious allegations that I heard against Sean were that was charged with being inappropriate with a minor. These are just allegations. I don't know if he was convicted. I don't know if he was actually arrested, but people have been posting some documents from like Department of Family Services or whatever, where a child had to be removed from the home that Sean used to be that Sean used to live in. He was previously married before, and allegedly he has 5 children from his previous marriage. And allegedly he left that family to be with Taya and to start this polyamory journey with Alicia and Tyler. Another allegation that is floating around on the internet is that when Sean met Taya, he was her boss. And she was about 18 years old when they first met. So we have the age gap, we have the power dynamic. Um, there's issues here. And also allegedly when him and Taya got with Alicia and Tyler had no idea that he had this whole other family. That he had the ex-wife, that he had the 5 kids. Allegedly, the ex-wife is out there saying that Sean is not even paying child support for these kids that he had with her. So that's what I've heard. Everybody that's been talking about it, obviously, it's all alleged. There is no concrete proof. I do feel some kind of way perpetuating these allegations without concrete proof, but I feel like this might explain the reason why he is the way he is, the reason why he is, very uptight, very condescending, maybe because of all of this stuff that he has been through in the past. He's coming from a troubled past and he's entering this dynamic with all of these issues. So maybe that will give us a better understanding of why he is the way he is. But like I said, this is all alleged. I don't know if any of this has been proven, but this is what's going on out there in these internet streets. So let's get into the actual episode itself. So when the episode starts off, we have Alicia and we have Taya. They're in the kitchen, and Alicia is telling Taya that because Taya said that her milk finally started coming in abundantly. So she's able now to feed the baby without any problems. And Alicia says, well, unfortunately, her milk never did come in. I'm like, okay, that was kind of like a given. We knew that because you didn't just recently give birth and you stopped breastfeeding almost 2 years ago. So yeah, we kind of thought that your milk would not come in. That's not a shocker there. I don't know why. I don't know. I'm gonna just leave that alone. Moving on. So Taya has to walk, she tells us that she has to walk a very fine line. Whenever the men are butting heads and they're not getting along and there's an issue in the house, and she wants to address it, she's learned her lesson that she has to walk a very fine line. She tells us that she has learned from the past that she cannot insert herself in other people's business. Okay. So she wants to approach her husband, Sean, and she wants to tell Sean that when Tyler sent the text regarding the baby's blood type, and therefore making everybody believe that he could be the biological father of baby Quentin because the baby's blood type and his blood type match. um she wants to let Sean know that Tyler did not send that text maliciously, because what's pissing Sean off is that he believes that when Tyler sent the text revealing baby Quentin's blood type, with everybody already knowing what Tyler's blood type was, Sean thinks that Tyler sent that text maliciously in a way to like rub it in Sean's face that he is Quentin's baby daddy. I got your wife pregnant. I have a baby with your wife. What you going to do about it? So that's why Sean is extremely pissed off at Tyler. But Taya does not think that Tyler sent that text maliciously with any type of, ill intent. She wants to convince her husband that when he sent it, he was just sending a text message to inform us of the information that he got because he was the one that took the baby to the doctor or whatever, and he was the one that got the results, and he was just sharing it with the group. He probably forgot that the group already knew what his own blood type was. So he wasn't trying to rub anything in Sean's face. So when she goes into the bedroom to talk to her husband, Sean, she's very delicate about it because she knows that, I'm pretty sure like what we've seen so far on camera, that he's like a ticking time bomb. And so she approaches him very carefully, very gently. And it told me that Taya is used to walking on eggshells around Sean. That when she says, whenever we have to address issues with the men, we have to be very careful with how we approach them. No, no, no. I don't think it's about how they approach them. I think it's how they approach Sean. I think out of this dynamic, out of these four people, Sean is the ticking time bomb. Sean is the one with the temper, the hot-headed one, and they all have to walk around eggshells around him specifically. So she goes to her husband and she says, when Tyler sent that text, he really didn't mean anything by it. He was just, informing us, like an FYI type of situation. And Sean was like, nope, nope, I don't believe it. I think he sent it on purpose, and I think he did it to be malicious. Case closed. He didn't want to say anything else about it. That's what he believed. Taya could not convince him otherwise. And I was like, okay, this is probably their usual dynamic where Sean does not want to listen to anybody else. It's his way or the highway. He believes what he believes, and that's the end of the discussion. So that really didn't work out very well. He is still holding grudges against Tyler. He still believes that Tyler did it with ill intent, and that's just how it is. So the next scene that we have, the two women are on their way to baby yoga. And while they're on their way to baby yoga, they're talking about the blood type text. And Alicia, Tyler's wife, Alicia, her only issue about this, she doesn't care about the blood type. She doesn't care who fathered baby Quentin. Her issue is how come Sean did not confide in her what he was feeling and what he was thinking when he got that text from Tyler. Because Sean and Alicia were actually together when Sean got that text, when Sean sent that text. And so, and it wasn't a group text. I take that back. It wasn't a group text. I think he was, because Alicia didn't know about the text. So I don't know if Tyler was sending it specifically to Sean or he sent it to, I think, or did he, I think he sent it to Taya because she's the mom. And then Taya sent it to Sean because that's her husband. And I think that's how Alicia got left out of the loop. So on their way to baby yoga, they're talking about this. And Alicia's only concern is like, well, why didn't Sean tell me about this? And I was with him when he got that text. Why didn't he confide in me? So once again, Alicia's issue is being left out. So Taya tells us that, Sean is very closed up. He doesn't really, talk to a lot of people. He comes from, like, he doesn't, he's been alone most of his life. He doesn't have anybody really close to him. Like, I wonder why. I wonder why he doesn't have people that are close to him, why he doesn't have people that he can confide in, why he doesn't feel comfortable opening up to people. I wonder why. So Tyler and his sister, they meet up, and Tyler tells his sister about the blood type text. And the sister tells us that she's always believed that Quentin was her brother's child. She says, I'm his sister. We share the same DNA. So I can always tell when my brother fathers a child by their features. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, that's fine. But even Tyler and his sister don't even look like brother and sister to me, but that's neither here nor there. So she says, he's my brother. We share the same DNA. And so I can tell which children belong to my brother. And she does believe that baby Quentin is Tyler's child based on facial features. So the sister, so Tyler and his sister, okay, yeah, like I said, they don't even look alike. Kelsey asks her brother, the sister, her name is Kelsey. Kelsey asks her brother, now that you know that you're the bio dad, and I'm like, hold up, Kels. We don't know that Tyler's the bio dad because blood type is not indicative of paternity. I don't know why they just don't do a simple Google search. Okay. I don't know why they don't do that. It's not indicative of paternity. You can have two B parents have with an O baby. So it's not indicative of paternity. But these people, they, for whatever reason, refuse to use Google and refuse to ask the basic question. You can even call your local clinic, call your local farm. Just please call somebody. Dial up somebody. If you don't want to Google, call somebody. Go to your neighbor's house. This is very like, it seems like it's very common knowledge that blood type is not indicative of paternity. But anyway, whatever. So Kelsey says, well, now that you know that you're the biological father of baby Quentin, how do you feel that you're not on the baby's birth certificate? And Tyler says, well, he doesn't even think about that. He hasn't even thought about it from that angle. So Tyler says the only way that he would want to know if he is truly the biological father of any of the children that were born within this union is if they try to take the kids away from him. They meaning Sean, basically. Okay, I seriously doubt that Taya would do anything to prevent Tyler and Alicia from being around the kids. I don't think Taya would do that, but I can definitely see Sean doing that. So he says that if it ever came to that, if they try to take the kids away from him, obviously the three younger children, he said that that's when he would have to, go get a DNA test to find out if they're biologically his and try to establish paternity. So, like, so much for not wanting to know who the fathers were, who fathered which child, so they could all live in harmony. So much for that, because since this show began, almost, it's all been about who's the daddy. Even with the tension between the husbands, they all still decide to take a little trip or a little vacation to celebrate to celebrate Taya's birthday. So they all decide to go to Portland, and they're going to be staying with Taya's family because Taya's family is accepting of this quad, this polyamory quad. So they're going to be staying with her family. Even though they are going to be staying in another person's house or other people's homes, wherever they are, wherever they go, no matter where they are, they still do the switcheroo with the husbands, where the husbands, switch whichever wife they're gonna be with that particular night. So they still do that even if they are in another location. So that's still going to be going on. Alicia tells us how Tyler is her safe space in her confessional, Tyler being her husband. She talks about how she can confide in him in anything. She feels comfortable talking to him and that he's her safe space. So then the producer asks her, well, is Sean your person? And there's a long pause. And Alicia says, well, I wouldn't say that Sean is my person, not until we can open up to one another without having that fear of how the other person is going to react. So here we go, once again, talking about Sean's emotions, how he's so reactionary, how he's very closed up, how there's this wall around him. So once again, we're talking about Sean's issues. So she says he would be my person if he would let me in a little bit more, and I didn't have to worry about how he's going to react, if I tell him certain things. All four of them the next day in Portland, they leave the kids, I guess, with Taya's family, and all four of them go on a, what do they call it? I think it's like a hot tub boat. I think that's what it was. It's a hot tub that floats around in the water. It's like a little boat or a little yacht or something. So they all go into this hot tub, and this is where we find out that Taya is also pansexual. So she tells us that she's pansexual. She tells us that sometimes she wishes that she could be with a woman, but because Alicia is 100% straight, she can't get that from Alicia. So she has to get that from the outside. Now we're going to delve into that a little bit more in next week's episode. Okay. We're going to see, exactly what Taya's been up to. So I don't know if the group allows her to commingle with women outside of the group, or if she wants to like invite another person in the group to be a part of this dynamic, or what's going on. But we'll find out more about that in next week's episode. So Tyler wants to resolve the blood type issue once and for all. So well, he doesn't want to, he doesn't really care, but his wife, Alicia, wants it resolved. So she tells him, I want you to take time out from this little vacation and I want you to meet up with Sean and y'all need to squash this. So the two men meet up. It doesn't go well at all. It doesn't go well at all. So Tyler brings up how, look, I did not mean to do this intentionally. I'm not trying to hurt anybody. When I sent that text, it's not that at all. Sean doesn't want to hear it. Sean says, well, if you just would have thought before you sent the text, if you just would think things through a little bit, then this wouldn't even be happening. So then Tyler tells Sean, well, don't parent me. Don't talk to me like you're parenting me. And then Sean responds by saying, well, maybe if I did parent you, you wouldn't make these kind of mistakes. So then it goes off to the races after that. So then Tyler brings up how, well, I can do the same thing to you. I can say that you keep me from communicating or from interacting with my own children intentionally, like you do it maliciously. When they are grounded or they're on punishment, and I'll come home and I want to spend time with my kids, and you prevent that from happening, I can say that you're doing that maliciously. Sean denies it. He's like, no, this is how it is. This is how you discipline children. And I think the reason why Tyler and Alicia allow Sean to discipline their children in this way is because Sean makes such a big stink about how they make him feel like he's not a part of parenting Tyler and Alicia's children. So I think that Sean complains a lot about, hey, the two kids that y'all came into this relationship with, um, y'all make it very clear these are your kids, and that me and Taya, we're kind of like out of it. We're out of it. And so I guess to make them feel more included, they allow, because I'm trying to understand, why are they allowing this man to parent or to discipline their children in a way that they don't agree with? And maybe it's because they're like, well, he complains about how he's left out, or how we're not letting him bond with our kids. So in order to make him feel more like a parent to them, we're going to allow him to discipline our children. I think that's what's going on. Maybe that's why. And so when Tyler says, well, I feel like when you keep me from interacting with my kids when they're on punishment, I feel like you're doing that maliciously. And Sean was like, no, I don't do it maliciously. I do it because that's what needs to be done. That's how you discipline children, so on and so forth. Then they talk about paternity. So then Sean says, well, my biggest fear is that you will take all the kids away from me. Because obviously the two older kids are Tyler and Alicia's kids. They came into this relationship with those two kids. The three younger children could possibly all be Tyler's children, or at the very least, yeah, they could all be Tyler's children. And so Sean says, you can take all the kids away from me. That's my biggest fear, because biology trumps everything. And then Tyler responds with, no, legality trumps biology, because legally, the kids that Taya had, whether they're my kids or not, they're legally your children. I have no rights to those kids. You have all the rights to the kids that Taya has had within y'all's marriage. And so Sean responds by saying, well, y'all can go to court. Y'all can go to court, petition the court, get a DNA test. And if the results are positive and those kids are yours, that's what all you need to take my name off their birth certificate and slap your name on it. So I thought about that, y'all. I was like, okay, let's say, the three youngest children, well, the two children that, what's her name had, that Taya had, those two younger children are legally Sean's children. If they did do a DNA test and it came out that Tyler was the biological father of those little ones, um, I think he could, petition the court to establish paternity with those kids and establish his rights over the kids that are biologically his. But I still think it would be an uphill battle if Sean wanted to retain his parental rights to those kids, because he does have parental rights to the kids that his wife had, right? Because, born within their marriage. So he does have legal rights to those children. So if Tyler got a DNA test and it showed that he was a biological father of the kids born within Sean and Taya's marriage, I do believe that I don't think it would be that easy for Tyler to get rights to those kids. I think that if Sean wanted to maintain those rights and he's been holding himself out as the father of those kids, I don't know what the courts would say. I don't think it's a slam dunk case. I think it's very possible that Sean will still be able to retain those rights as the legal father of those kids. So I think in next week's episode, they're going to be talking about adoption. I don't know how adoption is going to play into this because in order to adopt, someone has to give up their rights. So I don't know how adoption is going to solve anything because Tyler was talking about how he wants to be able to have some type of rights to the kids that were born within Sean and Taya's marriage. But I don't understand how he would do that if Sean didn't want to give up his rights. So we'll see how that goes next week. Sorry that this review was a little bit choppy, kind of all over the place. I didn't have my usual flow, but honey, it is what it is. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. On your way out, please don't forget to rate the video. If you like this content, subscribe to my channel, and I'll definitely talk to you later. Bye.